Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and today is Friday, April 3rd, 9:40 p.m. Time for some late night drafts. Let us begin. I almost missed it. I almost forgot to hit the pipe that I had prepared, but here we are. And just a brief reminder in case you're hitting the replay or if you're here up at the top, if you're new to Underdog, if you're interested in joining this website, taking a crack at one of these tournaments, or just getting in some practice for your draft for this season, promo code BLUNT on sign up gets you $50 in bonus entries after you play your first 5. There's also a 50% deposit match. So in theory, you put in promo code BLUNT on sign up, you make your first deposit. Let's say it's $100. In theory, they'll give you an extra 50%, so $50 up front. And then you'll also get an extra $50 once you enter your first 5. So if you're interested, the link is in the description. And now that is out of the way, we don't have to mention that again. It is over. So let's bring in some music. We got Jamie in here. We have there we go. Jamie's in here. He has made the music. Shout out Jamie. He was on a live stream a couple nights ago. Hope you popped in for that. That was fun. That was a interesting stream. You and like 8 other people. It was a lot of different voices, and that was pretty cool. Pepper Tony was first as well today. Fimpst as always, but first yet again. And then Brian is asking, why is Higgins going so high every year, man? I always avoid him. I mean, most of the time you've probably made out well, but 2 years ago he was the guy you needed in week 17. It's because it's the Bengals offense, and if it's ever a week where the opposing corner can actually stop Jamar Chase, then just by proxy, T. Higgins can go off. Higgins has like top 5 upside. That is the thing. Higgins does have top 5 upside, but he also gets hurt, misses time quite often. There's usually about 5 games per year where Higgins just isn't there, and if he's not finding the end zone, he's not really quite worth it. But he does score a lot of touchdowns. I'll give him that. He does score a lot of touchdowns. But Danimal's in here. Nice to see you, man. We are joining a big board in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Of course. You probably knew it was coming. You probably are. It's just like canon at this point that the first draft of the evening is going to be a location error. So I think we'll be joining in like roughly 10 seconds. Just pulling it up, of course. I can't have nice things for some reason. Whoops. What the hell? Okay. It's ready. Drafting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 6 more spots. Wasn't worried about it. In general, that's usually how it goes. I'll try to hop in. The lobby is not even close to filling, and then even though we hop in about a minute later, it's still the same lobby. So hopefully if you wanted to hop in, you can. You did. We are 4 more spots and this thing will fill. Let's pull that up. We have Brian coming in here saying, I got Hampton over Barkley this year. Crazy to take him over Genty because of the better offense and offensive coordinator. I agree with the first part of the statement. Hampton over Barkley. That's how I have it. And then I also do have Hampton over Genty. I'm not gonna launch the Raiders O-line into elite status just because of Tyler Linderbaum. One center I don't think fixes an atrociously bad offensive line. The Chargers had a terrible one as well. They're getting 2 tackles back. They also brought in Tyler Biadasz. Maybe not as good as Linderbaum, but still an above average NFL center. They still need some guards, but I don't think it's crazy to be taking Hampton over Genty. We are kind of just projecting with both, though. There is still a lot that is just not quite clear. But at least with Hampton, the projection kind of makes a little bit more sense. McDaniel made Devon Achane fucking elite. Same with Raheem Mostert. We could get 20 touchdowns out of the Chargers RB1. Let alone the fact that Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball like crazy. Plus 2 all-pro tackles with the Chargers. I mean, if you're going to ask anyone that's going to be biased, I'm definitely going to tell you to take the Charger over the Raider. But yes, sorry, Young Lula. Indeed, it is a big board. Indeed. What's up? How you doing? Caught you earlier today. If anyone has yet to subscribe, at Young Mula at GAB Sports. It's GAB for life. I guess he has 2 accounts. I get it. There's the watching account, probably is this one, and then there's the creator account. I have the same, at least if my assumption is correct, we have the same situation going on. But Young Mula is in this draft. We are next to each other. He is at pick 11. I am pick 12. I'm at the bookend, and it's about time. I've had low exposure to pick 12. I've gotten a little lucky. Some would say this is the pick you want. Some would say this is where you want to be. But at the very least, at the bookend, you can get crazy, and it's always justified. You can do whatever the fuck you want at pick 12. At pick 1, you can technically do whatever the fuck you want, but at least like with that first overall pick, maybe not as much. You know, like I guess you could mix in Jamar Chase at the 101, but if you're not going Gibbs or Bijan, and in general just go Bijan, it's a little bit odd. You look kind of dumb. In pick 12, you have carte blanche to literally do anything your heart desires. So we'll see about that. But appreciate you, Jamie. Don't forget to hit the like button, indeed. And we are on our way. Noticed no one was drafting tonight, so let's take advantage of the real estate. Let's take claim of the Friday late night time window. In general, those on the East Coast, I guess on Friday, aren't going to be as tired and sleepy, but I do like leaning into the West Coast advantage. I think drafting late night leads to a little bit of better rooms in general. Maybe not a guarantee, but in general, let's say I am drafting with someone on the East Coast. As the night goes on, they might become a bit more sleep deprived. They might be a bit more inebriated, maybe drunker than I am. No one's going to be as high as I am. That's always an advantage. For who, you can decide, but I think it's clear. Advantage blunt. But I found that some of the rooms are a little bit easier at times. But so far, round 1 has nothing notable. I mean, I guess Amon-Ra's 7 just a little bit, but this made me laugh. All right, we are on the clock, and we are definitely taking Hampton. But I don't think I'm going to do it. Don't think so. Technically, this is his ADP at 13, but we are taking Hampton at 12, above Achane. I'm trusting Mike McDaniel, and this is just not the channel where I'm gonna go Achane over Hampton. And today I'm gonna go Genty. I actually don't have much Genty. I do think there is a world where Genty does go berserk, but I don't want to have little Ashton Genty. I think I have less Genty before this click than I did Achane. So trying to mix it up, trying to be a little different. I know a lot of people already have this combination, but Chargers versus Raiders, both running backs, feels a pretty solid way to start it. And if I'm at the bookend, that's typically the way I want to go. I usually want to incorporate, oh, interesting, Pickens goes 18 with Amon-Ra. Don't see that too often. Pickens is on the thumbnail, but Team 7 getting a little bit different. Don't hate it, don't love it, but respect it. But I would have either had to take Neighbors there, who I would technically be pulling up. I don't think it's egregious. I think that's kind of where he should be going. Neighbors' only injury risk, I think, is the reason to fade him, but I'm not that concerned about it. But we do have Hampton and Genty so far, and we're going to be in solid shape the rest of the way at running back. We're not going to be behind the 8 ball in any situation. Maybe our receiving core might be not the best, but ooh, Rashee Rice at pick 25. Team 1 getting bold. And I guess at least this late in the contest, a bit more unique of a combo. There are fewer teams taking Rashee on that side of the board. So to pair him with Gibbs, a little bit less common. Is it correct? I'm not quite convinced of that. I still think Rashee Rice is bad karma. I am probably the more biased voice to speak on this. Definitely a player I was fading heavily. It's not that I didn't take him ever, but I only took him like twice. Like I was vehemently just like anti Rashee Rice as a draft pick, but I could still see them draft like Cardinal Tate or I suppose Makai Lemon with their 9th overall pick. Maybe that could be a problem. Maybe Mahomes just isn't quite healthy enough if we have to rely on Justin Fields. Not so sure. And I'm not going to be upset that I didn't have much Rashee Rice in the contest. I might start drafting him more. I might be looking to try to maybe get a Kenneth Walker Rashee Rice combo at some point, but I'm not too upset. Damn. Travis Achan went pick 33. Interesting. That team almost got double Achan at the 10. Matt Marvel. Jefferson Achan almost got ETN. But Higgins does go. Garrett Wilson at the top ADP. I don't have much Garrett Wilson. And I do think there's a world where he does play very well. But personally in the rankings, I actually do just straight up prefer Emeka Egbuka. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that for sure. And then I could put Garrett Wilson on this team. I really could, but I want to get a little bit different. And nobody ever drafts Travion on this side, but like I was such a big Travion believer, and I think I might have faded him a little too much. So round 4, it is what it is, but we're just getting really strong at running back, and Travion has that like 30-point upside. He can spike and just be like the guy you fucking need. So gonna go a little bit thinner at wide receiver. Get our anchor option with Egbuka though, but then we're just getting a little bit different. I think there's gonna be fewer teams with Genty and Henderson, just because Hendo usually goes at like the 4 or 5 turn. So just a little bit different from a spike week standpoint. I think he's valuable in this tournament, but obviously the Ramondre Stevenson situation, just not ideal. K9 over Jacobs, yes, that is correct. I would say so. Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, gotta get those joint emojis. I get it. Brian says Amon-Ra's value in the mid-range like last year is a win again. Amon-Ra is one of the most consistent, valuable, bust-proof selections you can make. You want pieces of the Detroit Lions, that's for sure. And Amon-Ra can go like 12 weeks straight with a minimum of 1 touchdown. Like Amon-Ra just money in the bank, and he plays through minor injuries. He's still pretty young. I think he's only like 26 if I'm not mistaken. He's still actually pretty young. There's really no concern with Amon-Ra. True dog, just nothing to really be worried about. Like the Drew Petzing hire as well. So yeah, Amon-Ra very valuable in the first. Anywhere you get him, I think it's fine. Honestly, you could take him at 5. I think you could just take him as the wide receiver 3. But wide receiver 4, I think, in my opinion, most deserving of it. My ranks have it that way. Needed more exposure of both these running backs. Young Moolah does go James Cook and Saquon. That's fair. Y'all know I'm not super high on Saquon, but he probably deserves a second rounder. I thought it was super interesting that Henry went pick 27 in this lobby behind Josh Allen. That was notable. Team 3 is looking pretty good, honestly. Team 3 has Lamar and Derrick Henry, along with Jamar Chase, Drake London, and Rome Odunze. Team 3 looks pretty good. Is Bent in this chat with us? I feel like I've drafted with Bent before, but maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Bent, if you're in here, let me know. If you are, I think you're cooking so far. But Make COD Great Again says, what's good? Nice and blunt. First time here. Appreciate you subscribing. Welcome in. Olave and Pickens 100%. I do think Pickens is a value. I think his price will be falling as the contract dispute drama starts to loom. But I think there is a world where Pickens actually does outperform CeeDee Lamb. So I think he's worth a second rounder. Him and Nico feel like really good values. Olave should be a good value. At the moment, I'm still inclined to take AJ Brown one spot above Olave, but I think Olave in the third is a smash selection. That's my personal take on it. But Sanka is in this draft at the 101. He did take Rashi, was already queued up and saw you were streaming. Nice to see you, Sanka, and respect the Rashi Rice poll. It may not be my favorite cup of tea, but I respect it. I respect it. Interesting decision here. I'm just gonna lock up the quarterback points. The quarterback gets weird, and there's gonna be a massive run. The player we're gonna get in the next round does not compare to Jaden Daniels and his upside. So I'll take him unstacked. We got some options later. And then I will just take Carnell Tate in the 6th. We need some receivers on this team. Definitely a position I got to get it back in soon. I was tempting to go with a little hit him with the gritty type of start, in all honesty. I almost went with another quarterback there. I think I got to mix in some weird builds as I wrap up my entries in this contest. This is my 91st big board. I'm trying to do 100, not more. And I am on pace with this contest. It is 91% full. So that's been the plan all along. I've managed to do it, and trying to put this site credit to use. Underdog, appreciate that little extra credit. But Rashi will not be drafted by Make COD Great Again. Disagrees with Sanka's perspective, but turn the lights off. Come on, baby, turn the lights off. Says, nah, Rice is going to be a smash, providing they lock him in the training facility to protect him from himself. Yeah, that's the problem. There's still, what is it, 4 months before week 1. We'll see. But Brian says, shoot in round 3. I'll take Rice. It definitely feels better than it did yesterday, but I still think there's a world where he's overrated at that price tag. Because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He goes wide receiver 11 in this lobby. It doesn't feel egregious, but it also feels like there's a world that really does burn you still. Like, maybe I'm just a hater. But if Rashi Rice is the guy you need to win and I just don't have him, so be it. Like, the karma involved, I'm someone willing to leave that alone. But I should probably leave my Chargers bias aside a little bit more. Maybe there's a scenario where I am like genuinely just overlooking him purely out of hate. But Brian says, feeling bad about H-N this year. I mean, the coaching situation can't help. The loss of Waddle can't help. The offense overall, going to be hard to envision touchdowns for them. Maybe they still bring in someone in like free agency, but it seems like the draft is really the only direction that's going to go. And Malik Willis can't really inspire you too much, you know, especially with his rushing capability. On one hand, that might open up the box a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit easier to run in Miami. But that's just hopeful thinking. I think odds are that's not the case. odds are every single defense the Dolphins play are going to have the same game plan every single week. Make Malik Willis beat us, and the way you do that is by taking away Devon Achane. 8-man boxes every single time, at least at a much higher rate than normal. And Achane will just have to rely on just pure talent and ability. And I could see him maybe over-relied upon to the point where he does break down. Maybe a little bit faster. So there's some really bad outcomes with Achane in a worst-case scenario. There's a world where it goes really, really south. Really quickly, but I think he'll be all right. But not elite, not as elite as in the past. If I had to guess, but I'll take Addison, high spike week type of guy. But there is some risk involved. We haven't quite seen multiple receivers be like super productive. With Kyler in the past, there have been some weird vibes with that, so very tempted to take Wan'Dale there. We'll see about that, but I'll take Justin Herbert. I'll take Herbert. I'm fine with that. We got the Hampton Herbert combo. There's still some back stats available. I've also seen Quentin Johnston fall dramatically in these before. And I don't think stacking up the quarterback with the running back is the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's bad. It's not like something I'm trying to do every single time, but I don't think it's something to be worried about. Sanka says, I have about 8% Rice, but wanted to get a few teams on the left side. Most of mine are after ADP. Yeah, getting him on the left side, I really respect. I think the combo of Gibbs and Rashee Rice will be a lot less common in terms of the overall Rashee Rice teams, because the difference between pick 25 and like what the lowest I've seen him is maybe like 40, 41, 42. That's not like crazy different, but he's very rarely falling to like 45, 46, 47, let alone 48. So I don't think he was going to make it back. That gives you carte blanche. You're also at the bookend. You have to pull up and reach on someone in the first place. So these days, like, drafting Olave, Nico, and Gibbs has probably just been done so many fucking times. Why the fuck not? Why would you not mix it up for the sake of exposure? It's just a new combination, definitely different, and because of the concerns that were cleared today, no longer existing, you just can't really be writing off Rashee at all. So doesn't look like he will be falling to the 5th round like I thought he might. But also, to pair him up with Mahomes there, that's pretty solid. And then Romeo Doubs to Drake May. Nice team for Sanka so far. Doesn't have a tight end, but the receiving core is very, very good with Gibbs and Ramondre. And then a bit more Patriots correlation looking pretty solid for Sanka's team. Sanka does not have a badge, but who cares? The badge is not a guarantee that you're going to win a lobby, that's for sure. It's if anything, it's the equivalent of a chip you would get at AA. If you're an addict, it's like a 12-month chip basically. That's what the badge basically symbolizes. It could correlate to sharper drafters. If you have more experience, in theory you'll be sharper, but it is not a guarantee at all. Not a guarantee. I mean, I have a badge, so that's all the proof you need. But what's up, Green Bean? Good to see you. Anyone not a streamer feel like site credits are why Underdog had to downsize and let people go? I mean, it's possible. I don't think I got enough for it to really factor in. I don't think I got as much as you probably think I did. But what's young Moolah gonna do? This is interesting. I know what I would like. I'd feel awesome if I got it, but the timer is expiring. Goes Jadarian Price. This is the luxury of having Travion. I really don't feel compelled to grab QB. I mean, running back. But I will take Laporta, no doubt. I'm so glad I didn't take Kraft in the last one to get Laporta here. only question is, do I take another quarterback? Because I could go Goff, I could go Kyler, I could go Baker. Could also take Gadsden. Fuck. I'm gonna take Kyler. We're going heavy QB on this one. Now maybe it's a little overkill. I'm gonna need to hit wide receiver for a solid majority of the remainder of this draft. I think this is a 9 receiver build. But we're done at quarterback. That feels good because it gets gross as fuck moving forward. We're putting a few other teams in a minor, maybe not desperate situation, but a little bit tricky of a spot. There's a lot of teams in this lobby so far with only one quarterback. Like there's the team with Allen. That one's not quite in this group, but literally 7 teams in the middle of this draft board, teams 4 through 10, only have one quarterback, and maybe it bites me in the ass. Maybe they really push the position for a while, but Baker goes. This team is Amon-Ra. I'm thinking they go Goff. No, he goes Pollard. All right, maybe I'm getting the short end of the stick by being the first team with 3 QBs, but it feels strong. It's definitely an advantage I'd like to have. When you do have a team that does make it to the finals, you want as many chances as possible. And if you only have one quarterback, even like healthy at the end, it feels sad, let alone not having a single quarterback due to injuries. There's a lot of moving parts, but we have Herbert, we have Daniels unstacked, and we have Kyler with Addison. And if Addison pops off, then it's going to be a huge game for Kyler, because you know Justin Jefferson's going to get his. If it's a major spike week for Addison, it's probably a huge passing game for Kyler. So he, I think, has the truest high upside of those quarterbacks I could have taken. Baker would have made a lot of sense with Egbuka as like our anchor wideout, but Kyler runs the ball a little bit more, and then Goff doesn't run at all. So it is what it is. Might regret it, but Kyler at 109 feels like a fair price. Jamie says with Rice, you got to remember Fields is throwing him the ball early season. Yeah, but also all the money's made in this contest week 17. Like, maybe it's a little bit tougher to advance with Rice, but I don't think it's going to be impossible, especially with like a team like Sanka's where he has a good depth at the position. Like Jalen Coker is your 6th. You can absolutely afford to wait on Rashee Rice. Now, if Jalen Coker is your 3rd receiver, then I might feel different. But I think the way that Sanka's going about it, I'm not going to over worry about what time of year he's giving me points. But Danimal only had a few Rice teams. Now we'll get more. Same. I will get more now that I know. But I don't think my lack of exposure at a very high rate with Rice is also going to bury me in total. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's really just the guy you need. But like I said earlier in this live stream, so be it. Bad karma with him. Not a player I respect, want to root for. I will be in the opposite camp. I'm okay. I'll take him a little bit more often, but I'm still probably not going to be overweight this summer in BestBall Mania. But valid, he is still a good player. This is kind of interesting. Likely the young Moolah. I had a feeling that was going to happen. We're going to go Omar for sure. I kind of feel like I need to go double whiteout, in all honesty. And I think I will. I think I'm just going to trust the strength of my roster with the running backs I took up top. We got Hampton, Genty, and Travion. Definitely don't need quarterback. I could take Kincaid here, but I think I'm actually going to go Rashid Shaheed. I think Shaheed is a little underrated. I think the Walker signing with the Chiefs clearly denotes that the Seahawks are willing to throw the ball a lot more. Their running back room is not very impressive right now. I wasn't expecting Rashid Shaheed to get the contract he was, but last 2 seasons, we've been drafting Rashid Shaheed at like 110, and he's paid off from a per game standpoint. Rashid Shaheed is that spike week guy. Yes, he was used a bit more as a punt returner last year. That is a concern, but I don't think you pay someone 17 mil per year to only use him in that way. So I think he'll be a little bit more incorporated into the offensive game plan more than he was last year. And remember, he joined the Seahawks via trade. He did not practice with them in the offseason. They gave a lot of opportunity to Torrey Horton, who was starting to come alive before getting hurt. And then given the Clint Kubiak connection and the Saints willing to part ways with Shaheed, he did rejoin Clint Kubiak in Seattle. So I think because of that, we kind of assume like, oh, he knows the system, it's going to be automatic. But he didn't have the chemistry with Darnold that is, established in training camp over the course of the offseason. And the way they used him was just a little bit differently than I think the way they're going to use him in a new system. Remember, Kubiak has left, and they gave Shaheed a significant contract. So Cooper Kupp, another year older. Last year I was fading Kupp, going with Torrey Horton, and I still like Torrey Horton, but I have to believe that the contract that they gave Shaheed is very indicative of how they feel. They're going to use him a lot, and I think his role down the field will be super valuable from a spike week standpoint. I think he can contribute better than pick 133. And wide receiver 55 off the board. Yeah, when Shaheed hits my lineup, it's going to be in the top 30 on the week. And I think he can do that 6 or 7 times. I don't think you're going to get half the season where Shaheed's just blowing up for like 18-point games. But I do see a few house calls from him at a pretty consistent rate. I think in this range, when you need the position, there's not that many names I trust, and I'm taking Shaheed over Jaden Higgins straight up. I think I'd rather bet on Darnold than CJ Stroud, to be honest with you. So I'll take Shaheed. Longer track record of like deep shot plays that are really valuable in fantasy. He's been a good best ball play for a few seasons now, so I like him. I think he's a good solid click in the 12th or 13th round, and our next pick is the last one of the 13th, so he wasn't going to make it back. There has been a massive run on every position but receiver since my last click. There was Higgins and then nothing but everything else. Love to see this run on quarterback, though. We got Mendoza and then 4 other purple picks. That's great because I'm done at quarterback, and there's still a couple teams with only one QB on their roster so far. So Lucky McQueen with Link Jackson Dart might be in a bit of a disadvantage. And then we also have Matt Marvel with only Jalen Hurts. Maybe not a big disadvantage, but compared to my quarterback room, I would say I have the best of the lobby. So it's good to leave a draft with like clearly the best positional group in one respect. For me, it's quarterback in this one. For a different team, it's going to be wide receiver. For a different team, it's going to be running back. I have a good tight end, but I'm sure there's probably a team in this lobby with better overall tight end play than mine. But Boston does circle back. I think I'm just going to take that falling value. It feels pretty legit at 156. And then I should probably get back in at running back.
Nice.
But tight end is kind of speaking my name. I kind of want Chigo Okonkwo, in all honesty. Fuck it. We're just trusting Hampton, Genty, and Henderson. We're getting a slightly more fragile build at running back, but we went RB in our first 3 picks essentially. Like, yes, I took Igbuka 1 click above Henderson, but like the 3-4 turn It's not much different. I could have taken Hendo just to see 3 straight green clicks, but it's the same thing. So 3 of our first 4 are running back. Those are the names I'm really, really betting on. All year 2 players, all year 2 breakouts. Love these guys coming into the NFL last year. And the only one drafted above Henderson was Quinshon Judkins. He did not make it back. Would have been funny if I got Judkins at pick 60. You know, like just the 4 first running backs taken in last year's class, which was an actually really phenomenal draft class from a talent perspective. So just gonna bet on that. No other. Oh no, there is one other team with only 3 running backs. That actually there's 2 of them. There's teams 1 and 2 with Gibbs and Bijan. Sanka only has Gibbs, Ramondre, and Keaton Mitchell. That's kind of interesting. It's just an opposite bet from 2 of my plays. And then the team with Bijan at 2 has Dobbins and Emmett Johnson 146. I respect the Emmett Johnson conviction. I respect it. But I do get my Jaden Daniels stack with Okonkwo. I'm chilling with that. But let me get back to the chat. Dragonheart says Barkley dropped out of the top 10. Wild. I don't hate it personally, but I could see him also finish in the top 5. Come on, baby, turn the lights off. Says, I got my badge from taking 8th place in the Battle Royale. That's nice. Some of the badges are definitely earned a little bit more than others. Like, especially if you get the goat horns. That means you have 1st place in a Battle Royale. But 8th place, I'm sure that'll do it. Sometimes it's winnings can also give you the badge. Winnings also qualify to get the badge. Maybe my pick'em winnings may have helped me in that regard, because I did feel like I got the red badge much faster than I expected to. I don't think I did, because you get the black badge at 500 and then the red at 1,000, and the gap in time between getting the black and the red badge, I definitely didn't do 500 drafts. I for sure did not. So not quite sure, but half PPR Tyler asks, you got credits this year or last? This year I got credits. I did not get them last year. We were not an Underdog partner last year. It's pretty solid to get anything as an up-and-coming streamer. Yeah, I appreciate it. Last year I reached out to Underdog when I was at about like 6,500 subscribers, and we got the promo deal, the sign-up code, and the partnership, and they gave me a little bit of site credit for like my pick'ems the last 6 months, and then we renewed the contract at the end of February and got some extra site credit for the sake of doing the draft. So I was super grateful and happy to have the consistent live streams for y'all. Want to make sure I give y'all your money's worth as well as mine out of the site credit. I'm trying to treat it as like legitimate income. I'm not trying to ship any of these fucking entries on the site credit. Like the way I see it, I got paid $2,500 and I'm putting it in this, but I don't want to just waste it just for the hell of it. But I would hope that we use it wisely. That's my hope. But interesting values here back on the board. Sweet. My boy Tank is there, and then Trey Harris for the stack. That's what I'm gonna do. Give me the Herbert Trey Harris combo, and then eventually we have to get in at running back. I will fade Saquon, or do I just take Pacheco? Nah. In my heart, it's Tank Bigsby season. He also got jersey number 8. He got the number 8 jersey. Going down to single digits, I think, is actually huge for his aura. I actually love that for him. Nice. But you might like drafting on Sleeper. I have a team that I am in slow draft that has 7 top 4 round picks in terms of Underdog ADP. It's a little jumbled on Sleeper still. Yeah, maybe we should check out Sleeper. But do you do like real money drafts, or is Sleeper still just like a mock draft site? Is that the case? I'm not totally sure. But at least on Underdog, knowing that I could win money with this is like definitely more appealing. But a reminder, Wait. Promo code Blunt gets you $50 in bonus funds after you play your first 5. Promo code BLUNT on sign up. New customers, hit the link in the description. But bada boom, bada bing. We are back in that. And at the moment, Christian Kirk went immediately after me to Young Moolah. Makes sense. Legit click. Young Moolah knows what he's doing. Jamie says, I drafted a solid-ass team on Sleeper last night. Seems easier to get value. It sounds like they do have contests from the way you're describing it. I would agree with this. I think there should probably be like a gold badge or something. But maybe once you do gold, you can't come down from that. So maybe like I don't know, a blue badge or a green badge. Yeah, I could see other echelons of what these badges represent. Because like once you go over 1,000, there's some people that, you know, are going to be well above that threshold compared to people who are like just at 1,000. Fantasy Dog says number 9 like. Come on, y'all. Hit the like button. Looks like we have 30 viewers at the moment. Only 10 likes. Can we get that up to 25? If we get that up to 25, we have 4 rounds left. I'll do a second draft. Can we get up to 20? Okay, 22. 22 likes, and we'll do a second draft. I think that's fair. 25, there's going to be some of y'all that just refuse. Whether it's on your phone or whatever, there's going to be some of y'all that refuse. So 22 likes, and we'll do a second draft. We have 4 rounds left. Can y'all deliver? We're up to 14, so making progress. At this rate, we will hit it. 22 likes for a second draft. Turn the Lights Off says, yeah, it was 2,000 or more in a single contest, which is what got me my badge. Nice. Getting 2,000 in return is pretty dope. But I think I'm in okay shape. Horton does go. I think I'm going to take Fryermuth. But 100% I'm taking Jeremy first. So betting on some rookie wide receivers on this one for sure. The fall on Kate Otten is pretty solid. Kate Otten should not be going past pick 200. I'll just take Kate Otten. He's probably going to be a little bit better than Pat Fryermuth. Maybe not a guarantee, but in a good situation, I think it'll work out. So Daniels, Herbert, and Kyler. Quarterback room is fucking loaded. Running back room, Hampton, Genty, Henderson, and Bigsby. Still needs some more pieces, but super top heavy, I think can work out, can make it happen. And then wide receiver, we have Igbuka, Carnell Tate, Addison, Omar Cooper Jr., Rashid Shaheed, Denzel Boston, Trey Harrison, Jeremy Bernard, and then Sam Laporta, Chico Conquo, and Cade Otten. So tight end came together pretty strongly. I feel pretty good about that. Wide receiver, I kind of feel like I need a 9. This might just be a 5 running back room. I think so. I think I'm feeling the 3-5-9-3 a little bit more than the 3-6-8-3. But one more reminder, we have 2 picks left. We're looking for 4 more likes to do a second draft. At 22 likes, we will do a second draft. But Fryermuth does go immediately after. Terrence Ferguson also off the board. A little bit of a run. Oh, there it is. Looks like we hit 22. Appreciate y'all. Y'all came in just in time. With only two rounds left, there was part of me that was like, maybe we won't hit it. Maybe not, but appreciate that we will do another one for sure. I do have one little board left, so maybe it's probably not going to fill very fast, but sure, I'll put up a quick poll. I know Pepper Tony is going to vote for the little board, but I only have one left. So I'll be honest, I'm not going to be upset if we don't do it. I kind of want to save it, but we'll see. Brian says, do I like Ladd as a wide receiver too? If he didn't play for the Chargers, I don't think I would. But to get a piece of the Chargers always feels valuable, and it doesn't really feel like a bad decision. So I do take him in the 4th, but I think he probably deserves to fall a little bit. Like, here he goes, pick 40. I've taken him 47 once. That felt so much better than pick 40. I do think you're passing on a lot of like safer options by taking him that high. He can hit where he's just the guy you need one week, but I also think he's a little bit less valuable at this price. Last year he sucked at 80 where we drafted him. You know, last year it really wasn't bad. So until he survives the draft and free agency, because free agency for the Chargers is going to extend into the summer. They still have a lot of cap space. They could still bring in a very solid vet to compete with him. But Jam Miller goes, oh, Katron, you're going to let Katron come back? I'll take Katron. That's good. I'll do that. Tempted to get another one, but I should probably do a final wide receiver selection. Probably. I'm gonna grab Jalen Lane. Don't have like any of him, but I could see a little breakout looming for him. I kind of like him. I'm not gonna lie. And maybe he's not on your radar at all. We'll just go briefly in depth on him. Nothing too crazy. He's not super tall. He's only 5'10". Not super heavy. He's only 191, but at 5'10", that's not bad. Not bad for the height. Arm length, pretty mediocre, 52nd percentile. Nothing crazy. But when you consider his speed, that's where you got to get interested. 4.34, weight adjusted, only 80th percentile, but still a 4.3. Can't sleep on that. Burst score is elite, 95th percentile. Agility's pretty good, and then catch rate is also in the top 91%. And last year wasn't like exceptional. Nothing impressive too much. Only 16 catches on 32 targets, 225 yards, but 14.1 per catch. That means he is getting targets down the field. 427 air yards. That's something. Not super safe of a bet, but that's something. He did not catch a single touchdown. So I'm making a huge bet that he can just deliver when he hasn't yet. But if we go back to his college stats, he played 5 years, transferred to Virginia Tech. His final year in college wasn't like special either. He actually played kind of like shit in his final year when you really think about it. But his junior year at Middle Tennessee was pretty okay. 69 catches, nice, on 11 games for 940 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had 6 touchdowns as a senior for Virginia Tech, but at age 23, he did kind of fall off. Like, same yards as a fifth-year senior as he did as a sophomore. Not that great. So I could have just made a wasted pick, maybe a 0, but there's the stacking component. He's a deep target, and he's also super fast. So maybe he can develop. Maybe it's Treylon Burks. Maybe it's Luke McCaffrey. Maybe there is no actual like round 20 stacking partner for Jaden Daniels. But that's an offense I would like to get a little bit more invested in. We went really heavy up top at running back with Hampton, Genty, Henderson. So I'm willing to just roll the dice with Bigsby and Katron to be able to get it done. I need these top 3 to stay healthy, and then I think I can get a little bit of a contribution out of Bigsby and Katron. Enough to be fine. But really, we're going a little fragile at running back today. Elite at quarterback with some big investments. Pick 60 on Daniels, pick 85 on Herbert, and then pick 109 on Kyler. Quarterback room is phenomenal. Running back room is good enough where I'm not going to panic. I'm willing to take the risk with 5. But receiver room, did I get enough? Let me know in the comments. Egbuka, Carnell Tate, Addison with the Kyler stack, Omar Cooper Jr., Rashid Shaheed, Denzel Boston at 156, Trey Harris for the stack, Jeremy Bernard at 204, and then Jalen Lane for our final stacking partner. The Jalen Lane selection maybe is not that valuable, but there is a world where I do get Carnell Tate to the Commanders at pick 7. That would be dope. Might not happen, but that would be dope. And then at tight end, we are rocking with Laporta. That feels awesome. Chig with the stack. And then Kate Otten at a minor discount, pick 205. I think he should be rising, not falling. His ADP 197. I think he's more valuable than that. So tight end feels great. Quarterback feels elite. Running back feels thin, but very strong. And then wide receiver is deep enough. If those rookie landing spots work, we are hitting pretty solid. I'm only going to look at Young Moolah's team out of curiosity. I don't think there's anybody else in this roster, in this lobby with us, but Cook, Barkley, Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Swift, Thomas Fannin, Lawrence stacked up with Thomas, Price, Love, unstacked, right? Yeah, Love is unstacked. With Isaiah Likely, Jaden Higgins, Stephon Diggs, Travis Hunter, Tyjae Spears, Christian Kirk, Torrey Horton, Freiermuth, Miller, and Shador. A little bit thin at receiver, perhaps, just because Garrett Wilson's a little bit tricky, but I think good enough. I wouldn't worry about it. Higgins is the 4, though. Scares me just a little bit. I like some of the depth pieces, though, like Diggs, Kirk, Horton. Receiver maybe just a tiny bit thin, but I think can work. And then tight end is really good. Tight end is amazing. Quarterback, maybe not. The Jordan Love click is unstacked, but it's fine. It just moves the needle, advances you forward. There was no stacking partner in the first place, so I'm not going to care about that. But a little bit interesting, you have Love over Goff. I still have Goff over Love, to be honest with you, Young Moolah. But Tyjae feels like at this rate, 179, he's a big value. I honestly wish you left me Tyjae. That would have been pretty solid. I don't know what to make of Miller, though. Miller I have no take on. Not sure. But good luck with Saquon. I go Bigsby, you go Saquon. Good luck with Saquon. But I'm rooting for Tank, in all honesty. But all right, that's done. That's it with that. That's over. Let's hop into another big board, and we did get boxed out on the first one. So if you are trying to hop in, the little board did win the poll. No, it's 50-50. We have 10 votes. It is 50-50. And I will be honest with you, I'd rather do the big board. So unless somebody, that 11th vote is the tiebreaker, and it is for a little. But vote 12, fucking okay. I'll give it one more minute. I'll give it 60 seconds. And if it remains tied, I'm gonna stick with the big board, and I'm gonna hold on. All right, the stopwatch has begun. I'm giving you 60 seconds, and if we are still knotted at 50-50, I will do a big board. But in the meantime, I'll catch up with the chat. I've shipped like 5 DFS contests and only got the normal horns. I don't think there's different horns. I think there's only one set of horns. Like it looks like a G. I think so. But Make COD Great Again says, yeah, I do 5+ best ball leagues, and I do a combination of tournaments and individual leagues. Nice. Oh, only the $5 ones. Okay. Jamie says, Sleeper, you got to find people to pay into the league. My guys run a whole community with tons of leagues, but it's not a tournament. Gotcha. And that's why you always sandbag your like. I'm not sure I follow. Maybe I don't understand what you mean by sandbag. The like. Do you hold on to it for bargaining purposes? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure I follow. Sanka says rough lobby for running back late. They all went in round 1. Yeah, that's why I'm just gonna commit to the players I chose. You know, I started off with 3 that I'm trying to carry me through to the end. I'll just stick with that. But all right, we did go over 60 seconds. We actually did 90 seconds, and the little board has won. The little board has overtaken it. All right, y'all win. We'll do my final little board. Damn. Okay. I wanted to save it, but let's do it. All right, I'm hopping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us join, but the location does pose a problem. That's all right. Pulling it up on my phone now. Hopping in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I filled it. I was literally the 12th person in the lobby. Maybe that's good for me. I get pick 2. All right. Like instantly it was full. So I hope you're in here if you wanted to get in here. Sorry, man. I don't know what to fucking say. Pepper Tony wanted a war room. We already did a war room on the stream when it launched yesterday, but I see Sanka's in here again. The Cobra is in here. And then I'm not going to read the name of Team 4. It is what it is, man. I don't know what to say. Right, Sanka was in the chat on that last one. I'll take a look at Sanka's team after we make this pick. Yep, just what I thought. A Gibbs team, not bad, but all right, let's take a look at that that team with Sanka. He has a 3-7-7-3 out of the 1 slot with Drake, May, Mahomes, and then a nice fall on Goff. And damn, you got the Goff stack with Gibbs and J-Mo. Yo, the integrity of the league might have fucked up on that one. Very good quarterback room. Very strong at QB. Really dope. Gibbs, Ramondre, Keaton, Brian Robinson, Braylon, Ollie Gordon, Justice Hill. Those final 3 picks are very lackluster, but with Gibbs, you can push it. Needs a little help with some of the handcuffs, but just from a volume standpoint, probably is fine. And then wide receiver Nico, Rashi, J-Mo, Waddle, Dobbs, Coker is the 6th. Stop with Chris Bell as the 7th. Not afraid of the injury. And then Kenyon Sadiq circled back at 145. If he's a Bengal, that's awesome. He could be a Raven, perhaps. That'd also be awesome. Hunter Henry, David Njoku. Very legit tight end room. Henry stacked up. Feels awesome. Yeah, Sanka crushed it. Sanka's got a good team. Running back, obviously, risky. Keaton Mitchell as the 3rd could be really bad. But don't love the Braylon click. Don't love the Gordon click too much. But I do love the Brian Robinson selection. The Ramondre click is fine, but obviously I made a big bet on Travion. I think they're both good at ADP. And then Justice, at the moment, we're not so sure, but should be a good click at the end of the day. Receiver room, really good. And then tight end room feels good. Quarterback is great. Yeah, Sanka's team, super balanced, super awesome. Running back possibly burns you, but probably not. Giving you up Gibbs. Good team at the 101, Sanka. And good luck to you in this one. As the 10 pick went James Cook. And then let's see what Sanka does in round 2. But half PPR Tyler reminding us that Ladd was the wide receiver 38 in half PPR points per game last year, worse than Deebo Samuel. And Tony saying QJ stocks. Yeah, I have a lot more Quentin Johnston than Ladd McConkey. I'll tell you that. But I did have a shit ton of QJ and felt like I went overboard and had to cool it. So I actually haven't drafted QJ in quite a minute. But now he's been falling well past pick 100 at times. Like I've seen him in the 10th round, like 115. That's too late for QJ. When he does hit, he can give you 20, 25 points. So I do think just from a contest standpoint in best ball, I'm not going to be fading QJ enough. But Pickens does go. Damn, I was hoping to get Pickens. I'm not going to lie. Felt like this would be a fun team to have Pickens on with him being on the thumbnail. So not going to get Pickens. That's a bummer. It's okay, though. Neighbors goes. I was hoping for Neighbors. Sure was hoping to get Neighbors. But Chase Brown off the board. Here's the thing. The team after me, I don't think is going to take both tight ends. So I'm just going to take the receiver I think is better. I do have Nico ranked over Olave. And then maybe this team fucks up and goes double elite bully tight end. I don't think they will. So I think I'm still getting one of the 2 tight ends. And I have Bowers ranked above Trey McBride, so be my guest and take McBride. But if I get McBride there, that's also just fine. There he goes. But do it. Go Bowers. I want to see you make a mistake. Do it. Do it. I think it's a big mistake to go McBride and Bowers. Oh, he does it. Let's go. Let's go. Good for it. That's fun, interesting, and you know what? We're gonna take a page out of Sanka's team. I believe this is the start that Sanka had. Right? Yeah. This is how Sanka started his team. I was fond of how it went, honestly. I thought it was pretty solid, and I don't have much Rashi. We're gonna get different, and we're gonna take him just like Sanka did. He went Gibbs, Nico, and Rashi Rice. That's what we have, and we have an example of how to land the plane. I'll probably go a little bit differently, but don't hate it. Don't hate it. Young Moolah saying Garrett Wilson is a stud. He is, but it's still the Jets. It's still the Jets. Unstacked, you'd rather take Love over Goff. I feel the other way. I feel the opposite. I'd rather go Goff over Love unstacked. But good luck to all. I'm done for the night. Fire it up. Yo, indeed, it is absolutely time for us to fire it up. Let's take a little smoke break. Shall we? Let's do that. All right. I will end the poll. This will be the last poll like this. There will be no more little boards until they drop a new contest. This is my final little board. Huh. It's not letting me close it, actually. It might be close. It might not. I'm honestly not sure. I think I closed it, but like genuinely, I'm not sure. Okay, Tyler, just pecking was just packing my first bowl as you said that. Perfect timing, divine timing, as we like to say. There is such a thing as divine timing. But Travion goes to Vigilant at 42. I was honestly hoping to get Travion at 47. So a little bummed. And Ibuka falls to 45, but not on our roster. That's a bit unfortunate. But JMO, I mean, yeah, we're literally in the same fucking situation as. But who knows? Maybe we're gonna get that Goff stack as well. He got it. Let's take our shot. Let's take a shot. Instead, though, I will go with Lamar. I want the truly elite quarterback. And I think in general, once you hit round 5, especially on the turn, I think Lamar Jackson is the correct click. I think Lamar should really just be going in the 4th. I think with how flat the receiving tier is in the 4th, like I get taking some early on, but I think some of them might be just incorrect picks. Whereas Lamar, if he stays healthy, is not going to be an incorrect pick. Lamar can really pay off, especially with all the super high price tags at quarterback the remainder of the way. Lamar in the 5th is never incorrect. But I think I'm going to refill this bowl, honestly. But the lights off. I got Lamar in the war room today at 59. I'm jealous, man. I want to be drafting with those lobbies. That's ridiculous. They fucked up to give you that. Did you have Zay Flowers or did the Flowers team pass? That's some wild shit. But made COD great is it against his Olave over Nico all day, in my opinion. I don't get the reasoning for taking Rice and Nico over him at all. That's fair. Olave definitely has tremendous upside. I do believe they're going to be drafting a receiver. I think it could be in the 1st round. Until we survive the draft, I'm not as sold that Olave will be just as productive with the same type of volume as he did down the stretch, because it really only came alive in the way that we're drafting him here once Shaheed left. And if you tell me they had Makai Lemon, I don't know if they would have sent the same amount of targets to Olave in that position last year. But I'm curious to see what Team 4 does here, because they have 5 straight receivers. I think they got to move off the position. If they draft another receiver, I think they might be making a big mistake. I think they need quarterback here. Goes Swift. I mean, that's a great price on Swift. I didn't realize he was still on the board. Yeah, that's a great pick. Take Parker Washington. One spot behind Brian Thomas. Oh, fuck yeah. Team 1 just completely sold it. Dope. Do I go Ramondre? We just fucking copy Sanka. No, for the first time. Almost did it, but I'm gonna take Rico Dowdle, and then I think we can maybe get an interesting running back on the way back. I believe in Travion enough. I'm still kind of a Ramondre hater. He's probably a fine click, and I don't want to full fade Ramondre. But in my honest opinion, higher upside outcomes, I think if one of them wins you the league, it's more likely Rico Dowdle than any other running back who's going off the board before my next pick. I don't trust that Rico will circle back to me. And the way I've built this team, I think I really need um, a running back. So let's gamble on which quarterback circles back. If we get Trevor Lawrence, that'd be pretty dope, but I would imagine Go Vikes ahead of me would snipe me. But then we did also watch Sanka get the Mahomes Rashi Rice stack. So if we get the Mahomes Rashi stack, that would further justify the Rashi click. And it's okay. But back to this question, I guess, or your statement, my friend. When it comes to taking Rice or Nico above Olave, or at least let's just say Rashi Rice, because in the third, that is what I did. This game is not just about making the straight up who will get the more points on the season type of click. It's totally possible that Olave outscores Rashi, and it's a really bad decision. But part of this contest, when you drafted a higher volume, this is my 92nd. Oh no, this is my 20th little board. I thought this was a big board. My mistake. But still, I've done over 100 drafts. And at a certain point, there becomes a time when you want a new combination. There are several teams I have already drafted that start off Gibbs, Nico Collins, and Chris Olave. And at the end of the day, I am in the third round, and I view players usually ranked a little bit more, especially at the same position, as more of a round by round type of strategy. There are some players I think are deserving to go in the same round, and for the sake of getting a unique combo that I haven't had before, I'm willing to adjust my ranks a little bit given the nature of the contest and what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to turn $3 into 100,000. And there's going to be fewer teams like the one I've just drafted that are confident enough to pull up Rashi on the left side of the board at pick 26, and he's never really falling back to 47. So I'm going to be one of the fewer teams, hopefully statistically, that has Jahmyr Gibbs and Rashi Rice. And maybe if this team advances, it's because there wasn't that big of a difference between Olave and Rice, and I still won the pod. And then in the final week, maybe, just maybe, in that matchup, instead of Olave, maybe you just need Rashi Rice on your team. Maybe Mahomes throws Rashi like 3 touchdowns that day. Maybe Tyler Shuck throws Olave 3 touchdowns that day, and he's the guy you need. Maybe I just fucked up. Maybe I just sold $100,000. Maybe neither decision was correct. Maybe there's somebody else that I should have taken. I like to take ETN there a lot. I would have taken Bowers had he been there. I don't think I'm going to risk it. I could take Myers, but I don't think I'm going to risk it. Actually, yeah, I think I am going to risk it. I'm going to take Dobbins, and with the team behind me only having one running back, let's get ahead of him. He might have gotten bitter. That's fine. Worth a shot. And then even though we just saw Sanka get Goff at 120, I'm not going to play that game if I didn't get Mahomes. There's the team that reached on Laporta. For him to already be off the board was like a big sign to me that, like, I don't think somebody's going to be passing on Goff twice. So I don't think in this lobby with the Amon Ra drafter at pick 8, the Laporta drafter at pick 12, um, did not expect Goff to come back to me. There was part of me, I didn't realize they were different teams. Just knowing that Laporta was taken, there was a part of me that just assumed it was also the Amon Ra drafter that had Laporta. So it's like there's another team with a double stack. Let's avoid that and take Goff at 98. He's in a tier for me where I think at this point he deserves to be taken at the 9-10 turn. And for me, that's pick 98 and 119. He should probably be going between 105 and 112. But in my situation, it is what it is. Green Bean asking, is there Parker Washington news I don't know about? He's fallen the last 2 drafts I've done tonight. Just got him 8 picks past. I think as more casual people step in, I think some people are still not totally on board with the awareness of Parker Washington and why he's being drafted there. And like, if you're just not aware of the game log that he put up last season, then it's like, why the fuck is Parker Washington going here? You know, like, if you're not researching him, it feels crazy. It sounds crazy for Parker Washington to go that high. So I think that's why. Make Cod great again says, if they draft another receiver, I would expect more total team points and therefore an increased potential at touchdowns. That could help them as well. But it also just opens up someone to steal the job. If they're drafting them pick 9 overall, you know, there's some writing on the wall there that they might be trying to move on from whoever they got instead. The way drafted passed on him, huh? The fuck? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, team one fucked up. But maybe that's why the team that took Laporta there pulled him up. But there's something. Wow, Kyle Pitts made it to 117. Damn. Behind Gadsden and Kittle, I was so hopeful to get Pitts at 119. That would have been awesome. All right, we are here on the clock. We got 2340. I do like Jalen Coker a decent amount. I will take Coker. I mean, it's weird because there's a team with 3 tight ends and there's Kyle Pitts that just fell to 117. I'm going to go Rashad. We're going to keep the running back room relatively viable. Because this is a weird part of the draft where, like, literally in the next 20 picks after I go at 122, it's possible it looks so much different at running back. But not sure why or what happened, but I was happy to get him there. Which pick do you have? Maybe I didn't realize you're in this lobby with me. Which pick do you have? Shamrock says, yo, how you doing, man? Will likely be more involved this year. I think so. I think that is likely to happen. If he wasn't injured last year, I think he would have possibly overtaken Mark Andrews. I was a big believer in him last year being capable of doing that. Think he can get it done now that he's only competing against Theo Johnson and they paid him quite a bit. He's moving with John Harbaugh. I think he will be a smash. I think I should have been drafting him more. in all honesty. Last year I had so much of him before the injury, and I kind of doubled down as like, I'll chase him down the board. I still think he's really really valuable, and it just never worked out. I just don't think he was ever healthy. So maybe I was still a little bitter about it, but from a spike week standpoint, he can win you the contest. Do you use a tool that tells you when you have a unique combination might be worthwhile? I do understand. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I think my plan is to get it for Best Ball Mania season. That's my plan, because I've always kind of thought that like with so many variables that you can't understand, like we don't know the schedule. We don't know where the rookies are going to land. There's still so many variables. I'm a bit more inclined to just draft off of intuition in the big board contests, in the pre-draft contests, and kind of just like see how that went. Like as at the end of the year, I think that'll be a bit more indicative of like what I was really like aware of or not, you know? And so that's just been a bit more of my like strategy for these contests. Lean into intuition a little bit extra, given so many things that are still up in the air about next year in fantasy football. But now that I have legitimate volume, which like in the past I didn't maybe always have, I do see the value of the overlay 100%, especially with the combination aspect of it. That's new to it this year, but I also think there's a couple other features that do pique my interest. So I'll be considering it for sure. I'm not going to take Andrews. If this team wants to go Andrews, go ahead. I think I'm going to take Bryce Young. We go Brooks. Maybe I gave him a gift with Chris Rodriguez, in all honesty. Might have made a mistake there. I think I did. I think I did fuck up. But the true upside of Brooks, I would say, is a little bit more enticing, but it's less likely to hit. Rodriguez is far safer, and maybe it was my dyslexia, but I saw him and Aaron Jones, and like in my mind, I thought that Rodriguez was sniped, and then I kind of just like considered the Bryce Young situation. I think I messed up there. The weed, I think, is getting to me. Rodriguez should have been the click, but I am still a believer in Brooks as well. But for the sake of like what I gave team one, I think I messed up. How confident am I that Parker pays off his price? Not too much, but I don't want to never take him. There's enough momentum from other voices in the fantasy space for Parker Washington that I need to like give him a little more respect. Like I have a bet with Jiri going where I think Brian Thomas is going to outscore Parker Washington, and I do still think that's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be by a mile. I don't think it's going to be a landslide victory for Brian Thomas if both stay healthy and everything is the same between them. I don't think it's going to be overwhelming that Brian Thomas completely outscores Parker Washington. I think it might be close. And if it's going to be close, then they should probably be going in a similar range. I do think he's more valuable than Myers. And like when you just look at the rapport that he had with Trevor Lawrence down the stretch there, like he was his go-to guy. They were looking really, really sharp together. Parker Washington is no joke. I don't want to underestimate him, but I still believe more in the talent of Brian Thomas. The Zay drafter passed on Lamar. That's how I got him at 59. Yeah, they messed up. They messed up. But I don't know. Drafting another receiver at 9 overall gives me Cowboys vibes, man. Not moving on from Olave vibes. I mean, that's fair. I don't think it would crater Olave, but it's just more mouths to feed. I do like their offense a lot, but they also have a much better running back. Their offense is going to be really good. I think the Saints could win the division. I don't want to be fading the Saints, but at times I don't think I need to always stick to my ranks when I'm drafting an underdog. Like if you only have a few teams, don't mess with it. But like just in the first place, I took Rashi Rice. It's not a player I normally take. I'm trying to mix it up with this one. I definitely don't have other teams with Rashi in this contest. Mendoza does circle back. Think I'll just scoop that up. Yeah. Pick 167. I've kind of just been sniping. I kind of been just a little bitter towards the team behind me. But then I'll also take Jalen Naylor. We do get a little mini stack there with Mendoza and Naylor. And in this range, I'm fine to take Naylor. Felt like I had to get back at that position sooner or later, but we have a major Detroit stack with JMO and Gibbs. We have Nico and Rashi Rice, and on this team, we're just assuming that Rice is the correct decision. But then we don't take Mahomes. He does not make it back. That team has him unstacked. Just didn't want me to have him. Thought he was the best click. That's fair. I get that. But didn't think it would work out. And then we do go Goff instead. But Lamar with Andrews should be plenty of touchdowns there. And then Mendoza and Naylor. Compared to Daniel Jones, Bryce Young, I think that's a very excellent price on Mendoza. I mean, maybe the Cousins contract makes you a little worried about like the beginning of the season, but there's no way that the number 1 overall pick is not going to be finishing the year. And like at worst, missing more than like 4 games. Like Kirk Cousins is not going to have more than a 4-game runway, because it's not like the Raiders are good enough to just be winning like crazy right at the gate. Like maybe you believe in that. Maybe their schedule's easy enough where it's possible. Like, you know, maybe you believe in their head coach that much. But I see Cousins as just like purely a backup that can just like teach Mendoza the ropes. An example for him, but Mendoza will be taking over, and I'm also not really counting on him in the first place at the beginning. We're trusting that Lamar and Goff are super healthy. We'll get the points from Mendoza to make sure we go over the threshold. Higher advance rate with 3 quarterbacks, that's for sure. And we got him at a discount. 167, ADP 151. Feels pretty solid. Also, we snipe a little bitter snipage on the team with Bowers. I thought I was going to get Bowers instead of Rashi. So tight end needs to come together. Still only rocking with Andrews. The receiver room is pretty strong. The running back room has a lot of depth, and then up top it's really good. Kind of want to just do this and say fuck you again. Just get the running back that I want the most. Goes Trey Harris, very legit click, and then Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker's whatever. But yeah, and then I'll just do what I did last time with Kate Otten here at 194. think the receiver room is good enough where who I'll get the next turn is still fine. But I will say, I think I played. Whoa. Oh, we got Leia in the house. We got the cat. Um, I would say there's maybe at least like 2 turns that I've played incorrectly with Team 1. We messed with him. He went overboard, so I think he shot himself in the foot. But taking Dobbins over Mahomes, maybe a little petty, didn't work out for me. But the Goff stack is totally legit, also good. And then I should have taken Rodriguez over Brooks. That was just an oversight. Uh, Maybe the sleep deprivation got to me. Maybe the advantage I thought I had on the West Coast earlier on did fail. But I also don't think I really cost myself much either. Like, upside pretty comparable for Rodriguez and Brooks, but he's been going much earlier than that. I should have taken him at 143 for sure. That's probably the click I regret the most. But Shamrock says, do you still think going early receivers have more value versus going early running backs based off last year? Which position profited more? At the moment, the price on running back, it just dries up so fast. You have to keep pace. You know, you're not the only drafter in the lobby. And like when you pass on a position, you will open up more value, more falling values at that position. And the other drafters will scoop that up. So you just have to keep pace at running back. So this year, you should at least take one in the first 3 rounds. And the better running back you can acquire, the more valuable they are. So while I do mix in those early wide receiver teams as well, I'm a lot less inclined to pass on running back early on this year. I think the running back position profited the most. Because now there's really good values at wide receiver in the middle rounds. Those earlier receivers maybe don't have like the same value, but you got to mix up your strategies. You can't draft the same team every single time, as well. Might just take Tonjes, but Flournoy this late feels pretty valuable. I'll do that. I think he's a very, very solid click for this contest, this tournament, this scoring setting. I think he's very legit. And then there's really no tight end that gives me confidence moving forward. I just want an advanced piece, essentially. I do believe Tonjes is going to have value. I will take Jake Tonjes. They like him. And, like, say what you want about George Kittle. He can get hurt again. And, like, I still think Tonjes can get on the field. I think Evans might get... He always misses time. He always misses at least, like, 3 games with a hamstring injury. So, Evans going to get banked up. Pearsall doesn't stay healthy. Kittle's getting older and starting the year injured. I don't think Tonjes is worthless. And this was a weird tight end room. Remember, there was the team with McBride, Bowers, and Tyler Warren. So 2 elite options are just not on other teams, and that's why there's a bit of a run there on the position. I didn't want to over panic on it. Like, in general, being the last team to draft a tight end is usually the strategy I prefer. So perhaps I could have gone with like Freiermuth or Njoku instead of Jordan James and just double tap tight end that position. But I was hopeful I could still get someone, but they all went off in the 17th round. Max Clare is pretty interesting. Don't hate that click from Cobra at all. I think that's very legit. Doctor the Professor says Rice was fourth in points per game last year with no suspension. The role he plays in that offense is now a smash pick, but Parker was a bad prospect. Sixth round, no breakout at Penn State. Rice is capable of being a top 3 receiver. This is accurate. Rice's ceiling is absolutely like a 12 target per game guy, and also could get a hat trick in terms of touchdowns in the same game. He could 100% be the best receiver play on the week. I'm not inclined to take him this high in general, but especially after not taking him very much in the contest up until this point, I should probably use some of my remaining shares to get a few Rashee Rice teams. But thanks for challenging my bullishness on Olave. Had to not act on my biases when I can see my ownership percentages on Sleeper. That's fair. It's good to make stances. It's good to have player takes that you feel really confident about. That's the only way to kind of get an edge, taking them more than the field and risking some more interesting builds. But this one definitely feels like a Devontae Walker type of team. We have Andrews, no other stack with Lamar. In general, they're all behind him. We did not get Flowers there. We're going to go Devontae Walker, who I think could break out. Liked him coming out of college. Had a weird eligibility situation. His final year of college made his rookie year in the NFL a little bit odd. He was kind of just behind the 8 ball for the last 2 seasons. And maybe with Hopkins leaving, maybe with like just less faith in Rashad Bateman, Andrews getting older, Isaiah Likely leaving. At the moment, the Ravens have not really brought in anyone in for agency. They also don't have much cap space, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of a weird situation for them. But they did get their first round pick back when they rescinded the Max Crosby trade. So I do think the Ravens are a sneaky landing spot for wide receiver in this draft. But at the very least, Tez Walker's on the roster right now, and he is stacked up with Lamar Jackson on this team. So here is the team. Our quarterback room feels super solid with elite and high upside, middle, high-end QB2 option, and then a rookie value at 167, well past ADP. I think we just got a really good price on our QB3. So Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, and Mendoza. That's one of the strengths of this roster. Despite a little pass on early round running back, we did have Gibbs at pick 2 overall. Then we took Rico Dowdle at 74. I did not think he would circle back, and given what happened, Ramondre almost made it back, but Manungai went 89. I don't think Dowdle would have made it back, but I take Dobbins instead of Mahomes. Honestly, I think that was better for me in the long run because I would have probably still desired to take Goff at 98, and we would have gone a little overkill in terms of quarterback investment. So honestly, I don't hate it. Mahomes also injured. There's some weird risk, weird vibe with him, and I don't think you have to have Rashee Rice stacked up for it to work. I don't think it's completely necessary. It's the end of the world if you don't have him. So actually, I don't regret that decision at all. Just letting fate decide for me. And that was kind of the approach in general with Team 1 in this draft. So it is what it is. We have Dobbins, really safe click in my opinion, just a little bit before ADP, but to lock him up before a team that was thin on running back took him. I'm really happy to have him. Also have Rachaad White, who I think is a good floor play, but might be competing with Jeremiah Love, and that could be a problem. That's starting to feel a bit more likely, in all honesty. And then Jonathan Brooks should have had Chris Rodriguez. That was the big mistake of this draft, but maybe, just maybe, Brooks is the guy you really need. But I think I did fuck up with Brooks at 143. We pulled him up as opposed to taking Rodriguez past ADP. Then Jordan James took him. I think he's one of the last like good handcuffs to be taking, but might not survive the draft. Probably doesn't. Probably also going to burn you. Probably the wrong Shanahan running back to take. In general, you're taking the wrong Kyle Shanahan running back. But receiver feels pretty good, honestly. Nico Collins, Rashi Rice. We're just betting that he's the right guy with this click, and if he is, then he's 100% worth pick 26. But anywhere in round 3, I think is fine. JMO, Parker Washington, Jalen Coker, Jalen Naylor. Coker, barely know her. Naylor, barely know her. Shout out Jiri. Ryan Flournoy, and then Devontae Walker with the stack. I like our wide receiver room, and maybe a ninth would have felt pretty good, but we're really just betting on Nico and Rashi to really carry me, and then the upside, like 20-point potential of JMO and Parker. Deep touchdown chances with Coker and Naylor, and then Flournoy with some spike week potential. Tez with the stack value. I like the receiving room. Andrews, Otten, and Tonjes, given we faded it. Tonjes might be a very bad click, but super late. Don't give a shit. I still think he contributes, and I think I'll be okay. As long as Andrews remains healthy. That, I think, is really the only thing that needs to happen for me to be fine. But Andrews could be like tight end 7 on the year. I think we're good. And yes, definitely Sanka inspired, especially up top. We had a lot of similar picks as Sanka. Let's remind you of Sanka's team. For a minute, I thought you had Parker Washington, but he went Gibbs, Nico, Rashi, JMO. So we had 4 straight picks, just like Sanka, but we did deviate the rest of the way. We did have Goff, but he got a much better price on Goff. Also had Coker, and the rest of the way, I don't think compares. No other clicks are the same, but I like this team. Like how it started off, and then the Lamar situation, always the right move in round 5. But team 1, they did take 4 tight ends. Just beautiful. Let's look at team 1. I left him to his own devices. I left a little mousetrap for him, and I don't think he could help himself. I think he went way too overboard. I think he fucked up big time. Even giving him Chris Rodriguez, I don't think is going to be the end of the world. I don't think this team is probably going to make it. But he has Burrow and Mahomes. Maybe don't write him off entirely. Also with Bijan, maybe don't want to speak too soon. But Rodriguez as the RB2 with Woody Marks, Pacheco, Sean Tucker, and Najee Harris. Gross as fuck. But Bijan and Rodriguez, I might have really messed up by giving him Rodriguez. Imagine if he had Brooks. Yeah, I fucked up. I messed up. Terry, Waddle, Jacoby. Not bad, but not amazing. Downs, Golden, Boston. Trey Harrison, Branch. Pretty solid. And then Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Tyler Warren, and Gesicki. So 2 of these guys, if not 3, are going to be zeros every week. Yeah, I really wish I didn't give this guy Rodriguez. Bummer, but yeah. And then also the Mike Gesicki in the final round, just to pair up with Burrow, just to finally get his stack. He goes Mike Gesicki instead of Andre Yoshivas. That's funny. Shamrock says, have you always been a Chargers fan? Why not the Rams? No, I've actually adopted the Chargers only once they came to LA, because I felt spoiled as a Laker fan. As a Dodger fan, I also felt a little spoiled, even though we had kind of been cursed up to that point in the playoffs. Still felt a little bit like I was just rooting for, the obvious winners. And it's like, I don't have any connection to the Rams, but I spent a year in San Diego, so I have a minor connection to the Chargers. It's also already SoCal, as opposed to the Rams being from St. Louis. It felt a little odd. And then the Rams had all the money. The Rams had made all the flashy moves, and I know they won the Super Bowl, but didn't mean anything to me. And I like rooting for the Chargers. In all honesty, I kind of like watching their journey, because if they ever do win a Super Bowl, it's gonna be much more inspiring, in all honesty. Like, for them to finally get over the hump and win a Super Bowl would be more inspiring than even just the Rams like winning a second one with Stafford. Like, not gonna lie. Um the Chargers, I think, are a better story for what I was interested in as a fan. But they're also so entertaining. Like, every single Chargers game, I suppose there's a few blowouts that are not that fun, but in general, you never know what's going to happen, and even though they lose a lot, like, every single play is just so electric. Pardon the pun, but Chargers are super entertaining, and I liked rooting for a bit more of an underdog for once. The Lakers and Dodgers, a little, they just don't fit that bill, like, they're not underdogs at all. So let's not be so spoiled in every capacity. Uh LA sports is a bit of a luxury at times. But there's the Anaheim Angels. I'm not rooting for them. There's the LA Clippers. I would never root for them. The Chargers, though, I got a soft spot for the Chargers. So I've adopted them. They're my team. Um, Ravens, a lot of cap space, except expect Hopkins back cheap after the draft. That's possible. They could maybe even bring in like a Diggs on the cheap. That'd be interesting. Maybe Debo, who was living close to there with the Commanders. That'd be easy for him. He wouldn't have to buy a new house. Debo to the Ravens would be very interesting. But still hoping for Tez breakout, though. LeJounte Wester, another name to look out for. Might add someone in the draft, maybe. Yeah, I think the draft is more likely what they're going to do. And if they don't feel great about who they acquired, then maybe Debo is the missing piece. I think Debo in Baltimore would be sick. That would be awesome. Like, Debo, Lamar, and Derrick Henry in the backfield. Like, you go trip running, double running back with Lamar. Yo, that'd be so difficult to deal with. That'd be awesome. Honestly, that's where I want to see him now. Put Debo on the Ravens. What's their cap space? The Ravens have 23.5 mil in effective cap space right now. They're fairly high in the rankings. They would be 1, 2, 3, team 10 in overall cap space. Very interesting if they brought in Debo Samuel. But divisional correlation on my team, or I'm not sure. Tight end premium gold. Yeah, if this was tight end premium, this would be a great team. But we'll see. You're bandwagoning being a struggling fan. Shake my head. Need to root for a loser to balance out the portfolio. That's a little bit more accurate. But at least I lived in San Diego for a year. Like, at least there was a time when I was like legitimately somewhat connected. And I think that's where I was more inclined to look their way. But yeah, they inspire me. I'm not gonna lie, they are a very inspiring team if they can get it done. But Dobbins versus Rice, yes, there is at least that, but it's not that big of a deal. Like, they might just not play in week 17, but they will have 2 games against each other. That's for sure. At least there's that. But the Chiefs historically have a very good run defense, so that's not good for Dobbins. And then the Broncos have like the best secondary in the league, or at least the best corner. So that's not good for Rashee Rice. That, if anything, that's like one matchup that I think gets kind of negated with divisional correlation. But maybe it's a shootout. Exactly. You just never know. We do not know the schedule, but we did have the Cobra in here. Let's take a look at the Cobra. He went super heavy on running back. Started off trip running backs, took Scattaboo in the 5th as well. So in the 6 slot Cobra goes Tyler Shucks, Darnold, and Rogers. Not bad. To push quarterback as late as you did, not bad at all. I think for the value, for the price, and then you did reach on Rogers a little bit. At this point, I'm pretty convinced he will play. And given how late he goes, he's a good click for sure. And then you got Darnold past ADP, Shuck with Travis Achan, a little stack. Don't have Juwan Johnson, but at least there's that. Quarterback is solid enough. But Taylor, Love, and Achan with Scadaboo and Brian Robinson. Love stopping at 5 with that room. Really strong at running back. This is really, really fun. Wide receiver of Flowers, Tyson. So I did not let Lamar fall back to you. You might have been bummed on that. But Michael Wilson, Romeo Dobbs, Quentin Johnston, Stephon Diggs. So you might have another. You also have Deebo Samuel. You might have 2 Ravens receivers on this team. It is possible. But Elijah Surratt as well. And then 4 tight ends with Sadiq, Njoku, Claire, and Waller. Got a little bit desperate. None of these tight ends have a team yet. So just a massive mystery box at tight end. But Sadiq and Njoku I at least think are legit. And then Claire is the only other rookie that I think may actually have some fancy appeal this year. But who the fuck knows? And then Waller might just be retired. So good luck at tight end. Receivers, okay, but not that inspiring. I'm sure you're aware of the weakness. And then quarterback also pretty rough, not really stacked up with anyone. But then running back is just so effing strong. I can kind of write all that off and say, like, good team. Like, I get it. Tight end was weird in this one, so pretty solid. But obviously a riskier build when 4 of your first 5 picks are running back. Glad you stopped with just Brian Robinson, but I think you did need a 5th, given Scadaboo's there, and Scadaboo has a lot of bad risk if he doesn't pay off. But who else was in here? We did have Sanka one more time, and then I almost forgot to review Sanka's team last time. So let's take a look at Sanka. We liked his first team. How do we like his second one? We got Daniels on this one, Stroud and Shador. With Daniels, you can tolerate the Shador and Stroud, but in general, gross. Is it stacked up at least where it's a little better? But Cook and Hampton with Breece Hall in the 3rd. So another trip RB team with Jadarian and Tank Bigsby. Like stopping at 5. Love the Bigsby click. Love the Hampton Cook click. Don't love the Breece Hall selection, not going to lie. But Jadarian Price 111 is pretty good. And then Breece has really high upside. So good room at running back. Definitely passes the smell test. We have Devontae Romadunze at 58. Good price on Rome. Metcalf at 87 is pretty solid. Jaden Reed as the 4th is clutch. Higgins as the 5th. Not my favorite, but totally fine. Travis Hunter, worth the risk, but very risky. And then Trey Tucker at 202, that's whatever. But spike week potential. Bernard at 207, fantastic. And then Dontavian Wicks, very legit. Very legit. And then Fannin is stacked up. Okonkwo stacked up. Schultz is stacked up. All 3 tight ends are stacked up. With a Higgins stack. Great team. Sanka knows what he's doing. Sanka is a legit drafter. Sanka does not have the badge, but I don't think you want to be drafting with Sanka. The Romadunze gift was, wow, even DJ Moore fell in this one. Damn, this was the wrong lobby to be on this side of the board, honestly. I wish I was like pick 11 in this one. To get DJ Moore pick 59. That's pretty dope. But I still like my team. We still got Gibbs. Team is still pretty good. Okay, one final reminder on my roster. We'll read the chat real fast. Carson Chargers will be a tough out if they stay healthy. You mean like when they were playing in Carson City at the soccer stadium? maybe I don't understand this, but I think they can make the Super Bowl this year. The Super Bowl is at SoFi next season. I think they're going for it. They have all the pieces, in my opinion. They lost Jesse Minter, but the roster I think is a bit more important than the defensive coordinator. Would have been awesome to still have Minter, but I think they can do it. Yeah, they did play in Carson for a few years. I went to one of their games actually. I went to Carson Stadium. Oh no, I went for something else. I went there for I was actually on a I was working on an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia actually at the soccer stadium, and they had all of the Chargers shit going. Um it was the episode when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I was standing in for the guy with 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 the uncle that's self-conscious about his hands. That's when I went to the stadium. That was a weird day. I was like, why the fuck do I remember going to that stadium? That was weird. That was a weird day. Met Danny DeVito that day. That was fun. 8 of my last 10 picks aren't on a team yet with Cobra. Yeah, Cobra's tight end room was fucking crazy. Waller, Claire, Surratt, and Joku Rogers. Technically also not on a team yet. So 5 straight. And then Debo, Stephon Diggs, and Kenyon Sadiq. Yeah. 8 of your last 10 clicks do not have a team. That's fun. That's also, you have Tyson, who doesn't have a team, and Jeremiah Love. So 12 out of 20 with literally half of your team does not have a team yet. But yeah, that was a weird fucking day, man. That was a very weird day. I like of all of the shows to stand in for and all of the characters, I had foam fingers on like all day long because the character is like so self-conscious about his hands. He has 2 foam fingers to make his hands look bigger. That was a weird day. The cameras on that show are like so interesting. That was back when they still had like janky ass cameras. Uh, that's a weird show. Hilarious, all time favorite. But like for it to still be running, like some of their more newer storylines are a bit odd. Anyways, I'll head out of here with one final reminder on my team. At the 102, we got Lamar, Jared Goff, Fernando Mendoza. Feels like a great quarterback room. Gibbs, Dowdle, Dobbins, and Rashad White can definitely get it done. Some big swings with high risk with Brooks and Jordan James. Really wish I had Chris Rodriguez. That was a major error on my part. One click I want back. But Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, Jamison Williams, Parker Washington, Jalen Coker, Jalen Naylor, Ryan Flournoy, Devontae Walker, a few stacks, some good spike week options, and then this team is just betting that Rashee Rice was indeed the click all along. I haven't been taking him enough, but Andrew stacked up Otten for the advance rate, and then Jake Tonjes hoping to contribute enough. Just needed a third tight end, and the team at number 1 refused to give me Bowers or McBride, and then went Warren and Gesicki for the overkill. But that's it. That's it for me. We are done for this evening. So I hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you're catching on the replay, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on your way out. We got 32 likes on this one. Appreciate y'all. And one final reminder, if you are new to Underdog and you want to sign up, you can get $50 in bonus funds using promo code BLUNT after you play your first 5. So the link is in the description for new customers. Promo code BLUNT gets you that $50 bonus on sign up. So look out for that. I'll see y'all next time. We will indeed tuck in Leia. She's laying here on the desk. And you know what? Right before I go, we will take a pipe rip. One last rip from the pipe before we go. I'll see you on the other side, my friends. and then I will say goodbye for good this time. I salute you. Have a good weekend. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning as well. I'll do one quick stream in the morning, and then probably back on Sunday night. Gonna have some plans with a girlfriend. Not gonna see ya on Saturday night. So I'll see you later. Good night, and peace out. Bye-bye.